Nobody can stop the Tush Push, and nobody can stop talking about the Tush Push.
I hate the play.
I hate that play. I can't stand it.
That this play should be eliminated.
It's not football. Push, 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 push. The big quarterback. Oh, that play drives me crazy.
The Tush Push killed my uncle. He's dead now.
Aren't you embarrassed that this is the way you have to score?
And the story goes that this unstoppable play is the brainchild of Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. He even took credit for inventing the play live on TV at the ESPYs.
Did you come up with that play?
Yeah. Stop the tape a minute. Stop the tape. That's a lie.
Liar!
Nick Sirianni did not invent the Tush Push. The Eagles are not the first team to run the Tush Push. A full decade before Patrick Mahomes was on the sideline watching the Eagles run the Tush Push in the Super Bowl, he was on the sideline watching Kansas State win Big 12 regular season games against his Texas Tech Red Raiders. But you probably didn't hear about the first version of the Tush Push because, well, we didn't come up with a good name for it at the time.
Well, the first thing I remember about it was there were just so many people around the line of scrimmage. Us and the media were trying to think of a fun nickname for it. What should we call this thing? Kansas State back then with Bill Snyder didn't want any details out. They wouldn't tell you what the name was.
That's Kellis Robinette, a longtime Kansas State beat reporter for the Wichita Eagle and the Kansas City Star.
But I remember I called it the battering ram. You just got up there and got it in the end zone. Some people called it the clown car package. So many people right around the line of scrimmage. The rugby play. If you'd given us more time, we probably could have come up with something cool like the brotherly shove or the Tush Push.
In 2015, he wrote a story entitled "Quarterback Sneaks Are a Team Effort at Kansas State" about this new play that no one had ever run before. What Kellis didn't realize at the time is that he was one of the few people who noticed the birth of one of the most iconic plays in modern football. So I caught up with him to get the real story of how the Tush Push was invented. This is footage from the very first football game ever filmed, a game between Yale and Princeton in 1903. By the way, side note, great idea. Whoever decided to go film a football game, thank you. Shout out to you, guy who brought a camera to a football game. I really appreciate it. There should be a statue of the first guy who decided to bring a camera to a football game. We wouldn't be here without him. And you can see the football back then looked a lot like the Tush Push. Here the ball is snapped to the quarterback, then there was the halfback and the fullback behind him, weird, and the backs run up behind him, they push him, he goes forward. Looks a lot like the Tush Push. So, if this play was in the very first football game ever filmed, in 1903, why am I giving Kansas State credit for inventing the play over 100 years later? Eventually, people got tired of plays that looked like this. It wasn't very fun to go watch people do this for 60 minutes in a row. It was also pretty dangerous. Like, a lot of people literally died playing college football in 1904 and 1905. Like, died on the fields while they were playing football. And to put a stop to that and to make the game more interesting, they made a lot of changes. They invented the forward pass. They also outlawed plays where you could just push the runner forward. There was a penalty against assisting the runner. It even had its own referee symbol, which you've probably never seen before. It looked like this. Hold on. Pretend I'm a referee. From 19. This is the symbol for assisting the referee from 1905. And eventually, the assisting the runner rule became so obscure that even referees didn't call it a lot. The last time there was an NFL penalty for assisting the runner was in 1991.
Number 61, offense, assisting the runner.
Even in plays that pretty obviously called for it, like the famous game between Notre Dame and USC, the Bush Push, where Reggie Bush pushed Matt Leinart forward into the end zone, that was illegal, but the referees hadn't made a call against assisting the runner in decades. It wasn't the way they called the game. They weren't going to penalize that one weird play. They weren't going to get on national TV in front of 100,000 people in the stadium, in front of millions at home, and use this symbol that no one has ever seen before. And so this seemed impractical. Why would you have a rule against assisting the runner if referees don't feel empowered to call it? So eventually, the NFL and college football both got rid of this rule. The NFL got rid of the assisting the runner rule in 2005. College football changed its rule on assisting the runner back in 2014. Here's the rule book from 2014. It says the teammates of the ball carrier cannot grasp, push, pull, lift, or charge into the ball carrier to assist him in forward progress. That pretty obviously makes the tush push illegal. If you can't push or charge into the ball carrier to move them forward, that's a penalty. And here's a look at the same rule in the 2015 rulebook. It says that teammates of the ball carrier cannot grasp, pull, lift, or assist the runner in forward progress. Did you even notice the difference if you weren't specifically looking for it? Basically, nobody noticed that this tiny change, hundreds of plays into the rulebook, about a penalty most people didn't even know as it existed. Most people just didn't notice that this happened, except for Kansas State offensive coordinator Dana Dimel.
Yeah, I credit that one to Dana Dimel. He had a lot of good ideas around the goal line. That was kind of his signature, at least in my mind. Whenever they got within the 5, he was really good about. He was one of the first people I can remember using the jump pass quite regularly, and that worked. There were times where he would snap the ball to the fullback, and he'd run in a wildcat kind of formation. Running back, wildcat formation, quarterback sneak, and then they took it to a whole other level with let's just put our biggest people here behind the quarterback and shove them in. So yeah, I give him credit for innovating that one.
Kansas State is the type of college football program that always has to do more with less. In the old Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma, they had the smallest endowments, they had the smallest enrollment, they had the fewest students and the least money. They're always going to have to overcome disadvantages. They are an agricultural school in the 9th largest town in the 36th largest state in America. They've never landed a 5-star recruit ever to this day. And for most of their history, they were one of the worst programs in major college football. And then came Bill Snyder. And Snyder turned this forgotten program into a powerhouse on the prairie. The coach before Bill Snyder won 2 games total in his 3 seasons as Kansas State's head coach. Snyder won 2 Big 12 championships.
That was really a signature of Bill Snyder's time at Kansas State. There were days when they were still in the Big 8 and they were throwing when everybody else was running the option, and it helped them a lot. Then when they were in the Big 12, there were times where they were running wildcat. Nobody was doing that. And then even in his second tenure, we talked about this play. There were times when they threw it all over the field. There were times where they ran it a whole lot. So they were always looking for advantages on the edge of the spectrum, ways that they could get yards that other people weren't thinking about. And that was another example.
Like I said, it took the Eagles 16 years to figure out that the tush push was legal after the rule was changed and to start running it. Kansas State started running it week 2 of the 2015 season. Basically, as soon as the rule had changed, they were already running the tush push. Early in that 2015 season, they played TCU, which was the number 2 team in the country at the time, and they scored 3 tush push touchdowns against the Horned Frogs. In 2015, they are number 2 in red zone offense efficiency in all of college football. In 2016, they really perfect the art of the push. They score 36 red zone rushing touchdowns, number 2 in the nation. They go 9-4. They win a bowl game over Texas A&M. Here is the winning touchdown in that bowl game. It is, of course, the tush push.
Ertz, I think he got there. No signal yet. Touchdown.
They do a lot of really interesting things in goal line situations. I don't know how Kansas State fits this many guys in that small of an area. I mean, just look at this. Look at all the people in that condensed spot. There's 11 dudes.
But the idea of credit here is kind of the reason I wanted to make this video. Because last year, Dana Dimel, the real inventor of the tush push, the man who ran the play for the first time at Kansas State, died at the age of 62. He was working as an assistant coach at the University of Illinois, and he passed away early December last year, about 2 months before the play that he came up with helped the Eagles win the Super Bowl. This was 7 years after Dimel left Kansas State. None of the players on the team were coached by him. Most of the staff members had never worked with him. But Chris Kleiman, the head coach at Kansas State, decided that Dimel was an important part enough of the program that they honored him by wearing decals that say DD on the back of their helmets. And when it was time for them to kneel the game out in the victory formation, they didn't go out of their standard victory set. They decided to kneel actually out of the tush push formation. After the game, head coach Chris Kleiman said that was intended to honor Dimel.
That was a tribute to Dana Dimel, who so many people at K-State know and love really well. I didn't know Dana exceptionally well, but I see the Drew Littles, the Scott Eilerts, the Scott Troushes, the Matt Thompsons, Minnie Hoffman, Al Serby that spent a lot of time with Dana, and that was a tribute, and that's why we got in that formation the last couple plays as a tribute to Dana and his family.
And right now, there's a lot of talk about getting rid of the tush push, about banning the play, about undoing the rule change that was made in 2005 by the NFL that Dana Dimel then noticed and used to create this play. And to me, that's like kind of the ultimate honor when they put a rule in place to stop people from doing the thing that you're good at. So the next time you see this play, or if this play gets banned and you never see it again, think of Dana Dimel, the man who invented it, and did he get the credit he deserved during his lifetime.